Alright guys, in this episode I'm going to be going over Uberchord. I just got done writing this review, so if you want to check that out, the written version, you can go over to the link in the description. It's going to take you to the written review of Uberchord. And if you want to check out some of the alternatives we recommend, some of the ways we support the channel, and guitarchalk.com, you can look at the free trials for Guitar Tricks and Jamplay. I'm going to put those in the description as well. Those are great programs. But you can check out the review for Uberchord. We don't partner with them. Their app is free. Everything for their stuff is just in-app purchases. So it's just an app that we've used, and we're just going to go through the review, and hopefully you find it helpful. So basically, Uberchord is part of the kind of growing body of what's called real-time feedback. I guess you could call them learning apps or guitar tools. And it's kind of like Musician, or the other one is Amped Guitar, which I have a link to here. It's a similar, kind of listens to you and processes what you're playing and tells you kind of how well you're doing. So I guess the inspiration for this back in the day may have been like Guitar Hero, and then later Rocksmith to kind of put the Guitar Hero experience into a real guitar. And that's what these apps do. That's what Uberchord does, and it is kind of with more of a chord and rhythm guitar focused bent. And I broke it down into a couple different sections. There's like I said in the written review, there's ratings, and I have some of the alternatives we recommend there as well. You can see how it scores. The scoring system that I use is just something I came up with that's weighted. So I weight these different categories and kind of come up with a score on the scale of 1 to 100. Uberchord, it's actually I need to change that number here. It has the same number as Musician, but it's actually a little higher than Musician. It's 75.2. So I need to change that, but it's 75.2, and then you compare it to these other programs here. But basically, it is a free app that you go in and set up like you would pretty much anything. You're going to come up with a just kind of a name, email, and password that creates your account. And then once I did that, I was able to jump into the app, and it was going to basically ask to listen to your guitar, and it's going to kind of check your levels and make sure that you can hear what you're playing through the microphone. And the simplest way to use this is, like, at least the way I used it was just with an acoustic guitar and just kind of with the phone sitting in front of me on my desk. And that actually worked really well. There were no issues with, at least the best that I could tell. It seemed like the app was pretty accurate, and that it seemed to be doing a good job of picking up my mistakes, picking up which notes I was playing, stuff like that. And now you can plug into it with an electric guitar that requires an adapter that I actually don't have for the new iPhone connection. The iPhone 11, which is what I was using, it has that little adapter piece, and I don't have that for the input. So I didn't test that, but like I said, the acoustic guitar part really seemed to work fine. And once you're in there, I kind of broke this up into two categories. They have the free content, and then they have the paid kind of in-app purchases. And the free side of Uberchord is basically this chord database, which is actually really one of the best chord resources I've been able to find. Like, they have a little keyboard here which you can look up chords, and then let's say the example I use here is A diminished, and it's just going to drop down all of the different kinds of A diminished chords, and you pick one, and then you go and you get a nice little diagram here, and it's just really, really sleek. Like, it's just a good kind of design that they have going here for this app. And then if you do click on the chord, you have a bunch of different options. So, like, they're going to have all the root position chords, and they're going to give you first inversion, second inversion, and third inversions if you want to fool with that. So it's a lot of, just a ton of content for free, which is great. It's a really good, just kind of handy chord resource. Now, if you want to get into the paid material where they're actually the feedback system is actually working, you're going through courses, you're going to go into a system that basically trains you chord by chord. It almost felt like, I don't know if you've ever used Rosetta Stone, that language software, kind of like exposing you to the chord over and over again. So you'll go, like in this exercise, I was going E minor to G over D, and then go back to E minor, G over D, and then what it's going to do basically is going to give you a score. So at the end of each exercise, you're going to have like an accuracy score, and it's going to give you experience points, which are worth something. I don't know exactly how they do it. I think you can unlock courses if you use it enough. And then you see here, like, I went through it, made a couple of mistakes on purpose, got 94%, went through it again, got 100% accuracy just because I played each chord without making mistakes. And it seemed like it was really good at picking up mistakes and kind of grading you accordingly. So what I think it's actually doing is I think is looking at each note, and it can actually listen to each note in these chords. So like if you're giving you a score out of 94 out of 100, like that seems pretty precise. Now I don't know, maybe they're just sort of spitballing, and that maybe the algorithm isn't totally exact, but it seemed good to me. Like it seemed like it was actually picking up the mistakes that I was making intentionally. Um, and then you notice here, this is kind of the same, pretty much the same example. They'll give you the chord to learn. In this case, it was the E minor, and you kind of follow this orange bar up here, which will be moving. And then you can see here, like it just the metronome will start going, and then you'll just kind of play at kind of on beat. So it's basically trying to help you get better with accuracy, and it's trying to help you sort of learn how to count and how to pay attention to rhythm, which is pretty handy. You can see here each course kind of works by showing you a chord, doing the exercises, and then helping you apply it to a song. And so in this case, for the free version, they kind of had you play through the rhythm progression of "Nothing Else Matters" by Metallica, which was fine. And so they kind of follow this method of introducing a concept, then helping you understand the pattern, then apply that pattern to a song. And they do a little bit of there's also a little bit of like real video, as you can see here. This was one of the lessons for strumming, and it's actually just kind of a more common like instructional piece, which I felt like this didn't fit as well. Like, you can't see the dude's face, and you really don't know, like, why did we deviate from the app that looked so great that was helping us do all this stuff, and now we just got to listen to this guy talk. So I guess for some of the things that are harder to explain with, in kind of a video game interface, kind of like Musician does, they use the video there. Um, and the one thing that I highlighted here that I think is important to note is applications like this, like Musician and Amped, um, they are they're designed to help you practice and to help provide some form of feedback. So like if you miss a note, it tells you. If you get a note right, it tells you. But it's not necessarily meant to instruct you. Programs that are a lot better at that, I think, do really well in tandem with something like this. And to be fair, Uberchord is worth downloading just for the chord library alone. That's free. You can use that. But as for paying for it, I think you've got to really decide whether you want something as kind of like a practice assistant, or if you are looking for like a full instruction, kind of a full like instructional course and program. If you're after instruction, then I think some of the alternatives that we listed in the description are a better option for you. But let's keep going a little bit. We'll get into more because I haven't gone over the cost yet, and I'll get to that. How well does the microphone situation work? Or the microphone system work? I've already touched on this a little bit. It's like I said, it's pretty smooth. It feels pretty good. It's quick. It does a pretty good job. Seems like it's good at like kind of ignoring the noise around the room, and kind of weeding out any white noise that you might have. The technology is really kind of the selling point here, and I don't know a lot about the algorithms that they use in these, or what the kind of the signal processing that goes into it, but I think that it's probably similar for all of these programs, for Amped and Musician. I don't know that for sure because Musician isn't. They don't. I've really never been able to get in touch with them. For as much as I've written about them, and for as much as we talk about them on this channel, they are super hard to get a hold of. Now, Uberchord and Amped, those guys have both been really open with me and chatted, and they seem like both really good and kind of upstanding companies, I guess you could say. So I've actually talked to them, communicated with an actual person, and they've been really cool. They've been really helpful. But like I said, I don't know exactly what the technology behind it is. I just know that it works pretty well. And like I said, I tested it with the microphone and the acoustic guitar, so it was simple. But I had no complaints about that, about the way it worked. For user interface and the look, the design was great. I mean, it was fast, and as you can tell from the screenshots, it's just a really sharp-looking app. You'll definitely enjoy kind of just exploring chords and stuff like that. So with the premium content, the stuff that you pay for, it is, let's see, so the courses, it'll unlock all the courses, and they have 200 song lessons. It's $10 a month. If you do $120 for the year, if you do a monthly plan, it's $15 a month. And the songs are nice. Like I said, I didn't really get to test those, but it seems kind of like you're going to be focused on it's basically going to be the rhythm stuff for all these songs, the rhythm guitar side, and it's going to be really heavily focused on chords, which is fine. But I guess I felt like this price was a little bit high for what you're getting. The 200 song lessons is good, but it's certainly not as good as Guitar Tricks. I mean, Guitar Tricks is over 1,000 songs now. They do give you a 7-day free trial. I think where I came down on this is that the price probably needs to be a little bit closer to Ultimate Guitar Pro, which I think comes out to about $3 or $4 a month if you do a year plan. And if that's the case, then it's probably worth it just as a practice tool, especially if you're on the rhythm side, if you're trying to learn chords, maybe if you're trying to really get into acoustic guitar. But it's a little bit pricey. You definitely have to want the practice help. And like I said, I wouldn't necessarily recommend it as a full tilt instructional resource. But that's pretty much all there is to it, guys. It's a great app. You've got nothing to lose by going to download it. You can use the chord search tool and the database in there just completely free. It's just there. All you got to do is set up the account. So I'd at least recommend doing that. Like I said, they're cool guys, and I think they do have a good application here that is probably going to get better with time. So I don't know if they run any promotions, but you also, I mean, you got nothing to lose by checking out the free trial. And I think you got to cancel that or you will get charged. So just if you do the 7-day free trial, and you don't want to stick with it, like just make sure you cancel it, and that'll help you avoid getting charged. Yeah, it says bill one payment of $120 after 3 trials in it. So if you go and do the free trial and you forget about it, you're going to get a $120 bill on your credit card. If you don't want that, make sure you go in and cancel. But that's pretty much it, guys. That's my take on Uberchord. I hope it was helpful. If you found it helpful, go ahead and like the video, hit the subscribe button. If you have any questions, just leave them in the comments section below. It's really easy for me to hop on and answer them there. And like I said, if you want to support us and if you want a maybe something different than Uberchord, you can check out our alternative recommendations, also linked in the description below. And we will see you guys next time.